So we seem to be live right now already. At least, yes. Yes. Oops. Yes. Very good. Hello, 15 people who are in the chat. And we have sort of 13 minutes. In these 13 minutes, we can warm up. We can, well, talk to one another. We can say hi to the smaller human being. And also, for those who came up early, we can tell the terrible story of why it's 3 windows that you see right now. It's 3 of us because Lerika, the founder of DevGAMM, is on the boat right now. And apparently there is a fire. And they are firefighting or stuff like that. If they fix the fire, they're gonna join later on. But what if we spend these 12 minutes with hope that she fixes the fire? And also maybe, oh, let's see if the chat works. Look. So for the live stream.
I hope that nothing bad is happening there on the boat. Is it a boat?
It's a physical boat. Okay. It's a physical boat. They were selling somewhere. As Neringa, you know that after you hold an event, a big event, you want to have a vacation. Mm-hmm. And that's what she was trying to do. And then something happened to the boat. What exactly, I don't know. And I don't want to disturb her because she might be fighting fire. And I'm like, with notifications. Yeah. But speaking about the events, Neringa, so at some point you started to have 2 big physical events pretty much on the same week, one in Vilnius and next in Kiev. Mm-hmm. How do you survive that?
Mm-hmm. It's hard to survive because there is lots of time of preparation. Like you need 2 months to at least not to sleep to prepare for that 2-week event in 2 different countries. But on the other hand, it saved lots of expenses because you're bringing the same speakers from one country to another.
And Lerika is from Ukraine as well, and she had an event in Kiev as well. So Lerika, we're actually very happy that you're alive, and I don't see any
we're alive. It was super scary, guys. Oh my God, it's like. So basically what happened in the morning, we're on a boat, right? We are like traveling. It's like not a very big boat, like 40-something foot. And this morning our generator died, so we could not like run water. We could not like run electricity, anything. Engines were running, but everything else was like just collapsed. And okay, what should we do? Let's go like to close the harbor and fix everything and blah, blah, blah. But we are anchoring, right? We are on anchor. And we could not pull anchor because it's super heavy, because all electricity doesn't work. So we had to like make it manually, but we couldn't make it manually because it's actually stuck and we couldn't open the lid. And then fire alarm started to like beep, 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 beep. And oh my God, we are dying. And Alex, sorry, cannot join today. But then we run more generator and run like our engines, and basically it's a warm-up generator. And then we finally could run generator, and now we have electricity, and I can spend this hour with you. And later on, we'll go to harbor and check if everything okay. Okay, this is the story. Yeah. So hi guys, I'm Lerika.
Hi. So where are you sailing? Is it
we're sailing around what kind of islands? San Juan Islands. It's Washington State up north from Seattle. It's basically closer to like a border with Canada.
Okay, that's fun.
Yeah, it's a one week vacation after our event, because we had like this huge event online, DevGAMM, last week, and everyone was so like tired. And usually we, after big event, we have 1 week of vacation for all our team to relax and get more energy. So, and we'll be back working again on Monday.
Yeah, and Robin, you seems to be doing an event suddenly, or at least you are doing a call for speakers, or like from what I see from your Twitter feed, what's going on? Are you suddenly an event manager?
No, I'm not an event manager. I'm on the program committee for Kafka Summit. So our call for papers closed a few weeks ago. So going through and reviewing all the abstracts that got submitted. So just one of, I think there's about 12 of us on the committee. So it's kind of fun. I've only done it once before, and it's really interesting. You learn lots from going through and seeing how other people write abstracts, and yeah. So I got a Twitter thread out of it as well.
Yay! And Lerika, before you joined, I actually asked Neringa about, so you do an event and then you go on vacations. She started doing 2 big physical events in their own, obviously, like in previous life when Corona wasn't a thing. So 2 physical events in different countries, in different cities in a row. And one of the cities was actually Kiev. And we still have time. So Neringa, would you share your experience? Like how is it physically possible to run 2 events in the same week with multiple speakers that you collect all over the globe and ship to one country? And then you physically take all the speakers, board them on a plane, and move them to another country, and also run an event.
Well, it happened somehow. We did that twice already. Basically, we have a team in Lithuania and in Ukraine. So the team was quite a help to help hosting everything. And we have 2 days break between both events, just to bring the plane to the Ukraine. And what we do during those 2 events, 2 days, we make some sightseeing. And last year we brought all our speakers to Chernobyl. I'm not sure it will be allowed this year after the fires, but speakers were quite excited about that. Lerika, have you been in Chernobyl?
Actually, no, I have never been to Chernobyl. I really wanted to go, but I never had a chance.
So I had no time to go by myself, but what people were saying, it was really fascinating.
Yeah, it's cool. There's so many private tours. Actually, we were planning to make another event in Kyiv this summer, and one of their highlights was a tour to Chernobyl for all our international attendees. Unfortunately, we're not doing it anymore.
Yeah. So we also had international attendees and speakers, so they were really excited. And also we did sightseeing in Kiev. There are so many things to see, so many churches, so much history. I hope we will be able to go back this year and have an in-person event.
Yeah, and also, again, something, I mean, I don't know how Neringa and her team figure out what programmers need, but basically they do an event in winter, guess where? Like somewhere where it's hot and sunny. And obviously all the programmers, yes, this is my talk, like, and my company pays my expenses. Like, that's the best ever event. I wanna go there. Is it Mallorca, right?
Yeah, we did in Mallorca and Malaga last year, and it's all we were doing for 3 years in Spain, and well, things changed, and every May we would gather in Malaga or Mallorca and chill on the sun under the palms, listen to sessions, and have great time.
Yeah. Robin, would you be motivated to apply to a conference that happens in winter in Mallorca or Malaga or something?
Definitely.
That does sound cool too.
It sounds amazing. Yeah, that's one of the things I miss about the current situation is being able to travel and see all these great places.
So on April 1st, once we announced on April 1st, Fool's Day, we announced that we are having conference in North Korea. We had an article coming out and some Photoshop pictures that the North Korea leader, and people actually started to believe that. Some of them wanted to go to the conference, but some of them were kind of curious what kind of organizers we are. But since it was Fool's Day, so we just joked a bit. Now you can.
I'm not sure about this kind of joke. I don't know. Did you get any like terrible feedback, or like did you regret announcing a conference in North Korea?
No, I don't regret because people got it as a joke. I will send later an article where it was. We did that like 2 years ago, I think. But now conferences were happening everywhere, on the boats, Lerika, on the
also good idea.
In the cruise ships, on the sea. Some of my friends did in Antarctica on the cruise ship. But now everything went back to the cloud. This is how to online events.
Yeah, and the reason I sort of did my best to collect you all amazing people here is that, well, I assume Robin, like big part of Robin's job was to travel and speak, and suddenly it's not possible again. And that's how he had to become a YouTuber. I mean, and my job also used to be heavily tied to traveling and speaking, and it's just fun to see, okay, what we're gonna do now? Are we all YouTubers suddenly? Or is YouTube even like the platform? Since Neringa and Lerika, they use different tools to sort of do conferences these days. And it's just a fun way to look at the problem of, well, interacting, talking to other developers from different sides. And this whole meetup may appear to be sort of a guide. And what gonna happen today is that we're gonna hear 3 presentations. After each presentation, we're gonna have a discussion panel. And if there is an activity in the chat, if they like the idea, perhaps after the live stream ends, we're gonna have a voice mingle, so more people are gonna join us here in Google Meet, where 4 of us are, and see how this works. We actually tested similar setup after Lerika's event. Right? We had about 20-something people in the chat, in the voice chat.
Nice. The voice chat?
Well, you were part of that. DevGAMM stories.
Oh, yeah, after my event. Yeah. Oh my God, this was so cool. So nostalgic, and 20 people. We planned to do it like for 2 hours, and we did it for 4, right?
We planned to do it for 1 hour, and we did it for 3.5, yes. And then I left, and people sort of stayed for more. But Robin, if you can imagine, so set up like this. So some people are in the voice chat, and some people are on the live stream. The difference is that it was, 20 of us in the voice chat. Imagine moderating 20 people. However, I still believe in this format. It may need some tweaks, but so far it can work. I guess we can start the event. Lerika, did you whenever is your time, are you the speaker, or will you want to bring the slides if you want to test that?
I can. Yeah, I can do slides. I prepared them, so yeah.
Okay.
So how can I share? Just let me see.
Right, exactly.
How can I share? Just let me see.
Right, exactly. That's what I wanted. Like, if you want to test if it works. So, right.
Yeah, present now, your entire screen, a Chrome tab. Okay, let's do Chrome tab. And this one, and share. And view present. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you see?
Yeah. Your favorite color.
Nice, nice. It's just a main slide. So
good. You can see
are we live yet?
We are live, yes.
Oh.
So you're welcome to invite your friends to the stream if you want to.
Yeah, I did it already. Yeah, I invited some of them and I just retweeted tweet. Okay,
Lerika,
guys.
Neringa is first. Neringa is first. So I just suggested you test it if the slides work. So they do.
Okay. Let's see. Check.
Let's unpresent.
Is it works?
Yeah.
Pictures are loading, but it's okay. I don't have too much pictures. I'm ready. Should I start? Are you setting up the timer? I have only 10 minutes.
I think on the lineup, Neringa was first. So
yeah, can I be the first? Because, well, my boat is not burning, but I have a little one who is constantly asking something.
So, Lerika, can you stop sharing your screen, please?
Yeah, sure. Exit. Okay, and Zoom, and you're sharing. Stop sharing. Okay.
Right, and in 3, 2, 1, I'm pushing the record button, so whatever we say next is on the record. With that, let me welcome all 4 of us and all 16 people who have joined the live stream already, and whoever watches us on YouTube right now. So today we want to look at pushing developer content to developers when people stay at home and cannot attend physical events, and probably whenever they stay at home, all they do is normal life can look like endless conference call via Zoom or via Google Meet. However, what do the conference organizers do so that the conference brings in the fun and the joy and it doesn't feel like a Zoom call to attendees? What is the additional value? So that's the first part of this meetup. And the second part is Robin, who is a developer advocate, and he cannot travel anymore, pretty much as we all cannot. So how has his life changed, and is becoming a YouTuber is something that all developer advocates gonna do now. So that's the roundup. That's what's gonna happen within the next 60 to 90 minutes. And then Neringa, you wanted to unmute yourself first. And then you wanted to tell about your event and how you pivoted. And I think that's a fun story. Right. So let me try to mute Lerika, and then Neringa, you should unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself. Wave the mouse below and there is an unmute button. Or in the chat, like in the voice. Yes.
The thing is, when I'm putting on the slides, I don't see any buttons, just my slides. So I need to go out and turn off the slides.
It all works now.
Yeah. Okay. So, hello everyone. First of all, thank you for having me here. So today I'm going to talk about how to sell your virtual event. And I'm more than happy to share my own experience of the last 10 weeks, because that's when I started doing that. So a little bit about me. I am Neringa Young, and I'm probably known about running my own conference, in-person conferences for software developers, which is called BuildStuff. And we were doing conferences in Lithuania, Ukraine, and Spain. Although I also share a passion of selling stuff and educating others how to become a better seller. Because I truly believe that these times, the world is spinning around the sales and salespeople. And if you don't have the skills yet, it's quite easy to get it. So just a few months ago, I was standing on the stage together with our keynote speaker, David Phillips, who is, by the way, excellent speaker on public speaking. And we were opening an event of 1,400 attendees in the room. And how you would feel these days, standing between all the people who are surrounded around you. It's quite crazy, isn't it, how the situations changed. So what is happening with in-person events? So first of all, some event organizers decided to cancel it. Some of them for postponing to another year. Some of them are going online, and I really support this decision. And in the future, I believe that there will not be just in-person events. There will be in-person plus online events happening. I would like to share some events that are happening in Lithuania at the social distance, because there are some other ways how to run your event. For example, in Vilnius, you can go to the airport and you can watch a movie from your car, or you can also take your car and go watch a concert at a social distance. Although my events were happening like this. For the last 10 weeks, every Thursday, we are gathering all together with software developers and speakers, and we are learning new skills and stuff at BuildStuff virtual meetup. I used to do meetups before, but I never did online meetups. And I never thought that virtual meetups can be very valuable, or whether people would join virtual meetups. Apparently, I was wrong. And what we are doing at virtual meetups, so we have two speakers, similar like Ola is doing here. After that, we have Q&A, and at the end, we have virtual beers and some engaging sessions. So I can share with you some engaging activities and games that we are playing. For example, bingo, which is very simple, but really engaging. And we tried some Jackbox games, that traditional Kahoot, and escape room challenge as well. So this is, so in the last 10 weeks, we did 10 meetups. In the last 5 years, probably I did 5 in-person meetups. So over these 10 weeks, we reached much wider audience. So first of all, why we started to do free virtual meetups? The first thing was to engage with the community. Every one of us are in the same boat. We didn't know what will be happening with COVID-19, when the restrictions will be over. Another reason, we wanted to share valuable content. And the third reason, we wanted to keep our brand awareness going. And at the end, what happened and what, as organizers, we received from virtual events, it was much more than we expected. So now our audience is growing, it's much wider, and people joining the online meetups from around the world. We are getting new speakers who want to speak at our future events, and it doesn't matter whether it will be online or in-person events. And we were not looking for, but we got sponsors and partners for future events as well. So what I want to say here, the world is not stopping and moving further. If we will talk about education, so every company still invests in their employees and they have budget to run trainings, and still, since the only way to run trainings is online, so this is why we need to shape our events and not to stop doing them. Perhaps do you know the story about lion and gazelle? So I will just remind you. Every morning in Africa, a gazelle wakes up. It knows it must outrun a fastest lion or it will be killed. Every morning, the lion wakes up. It knows it must run faster than the slowest gazelle or it will starve. So it doesn't matter whether you are a lion or a gazelle, when the sun comes up, you better be running and creating new opportunities for your future events and your business. So I'm really happy for those event organizers who decided to move their business online, because this is actually the future. So what online event organizer, trainer, and attendee have in common? So everyone can join the event from the sofa. And the last few weeks, I attended lots of events, and sometimes events were happening at the same time. But this feature that you can join an event from your sofa is very comfortable. You can also spend time with your family and educate yourself and be part of something from your sofa. So I don't know if I guess it will be hard to go back to in-person events, because there are so many benefits that organizer gets from virtual events, even if they are paid. So for example, the costs are much lower to run an online event. You don't need to pay any accommodation, venue, and cost lunches, coffee breaks. It's much cheaper to run the event. Also, you can attract a wider audience. So everyone now moved to online, so all your audience is there. You can reschedule an event if something happening. So I don't know if the speaker can join. It's much easier to reschedule because no one has a plane ticket to come over to you. You can sell your event until it starts, and at the same day when event is happening, you can still get sales. You can combine your work with other tasks. So today I was running a virtual training. Also, I was making these slides, and I have 5-year-olds running around me. So you can combine lots of stuff with virtual events. You can, and as I mentioned, you can organize online events from your sofa. Talking about your audience, there are lots of events happening now online. And some organizers are thinking, why I should do the same event as there are already the same events happening. And I will tell you. So we had to sell online course, and the same trainer was teaching the same online course with other training providers. And the course was sold out by us. The course was sold out by other training provider. So everyone can get their own audience. You need to know how to sell stuff. And this is where I'm heading. I would like to talk a little bit about how we are doing sales. So very often we tend to sell features, but not benefits. So features differentiate a product in the market. So for example, this is a phone, and the feature of the phone is the camera. Benefit would be if your client, for example, is a woman with children. So benefits for her to have such phone with such great camera, she could make pictures of her children and print quality pictures to hang on her walls. So this is where emotion comes in. And because of the emotion, people are buying stuff. It doesn't matter what you're selling. So the woman already sees the walls full of pictures, and and then the sale comes. If she wants those pictures on the walls, she needs to get the phone. So this is very simple example, but every online course has their own features. And this is what online course organizer needs to describe first, what attendee would get from its course. So it's very common. You can offer a recorded video after the conference, after the course day. You can offer collaborative tools. We did some visual diary where the real artist is making sketch of everything what a trainer is saying. We did Slack channel for micro community where attendees can access trainer and other attendees. It's possible also to send some books or other educational material. And of course, the good course feature would be a well-known trainer, because the trainer also sells himself. I just want to remind you that this is all course features, and not for everyone it's important to have a recorded video or collaborative tools. People tend to buy for other reasons. So your customer has options. He can buy from you, he can buy from other training provider, he can decide not to buy your course at all. So why people are buying? So all the time they are buying because of the emotion and our own personal environment improvement. It doesn't matter if it's related to business, family, or friends. It's everything about personal experience. So when it comes on selling the online course, you should look what personal motivators there relates to the person. So for example, if the person will attend an advanced Java course, perhaps he will get higher wage at his company, or he get a promotion, or maybe there will be a higher status among colleagues and he can teach other colleagues at his job. So sometimes it matters to have personal development, or personal need to be modern and up-to-date, or does a need to be popular. So everything relates to own experience. When we are doing sales, we are not just talking with individuals. We are talking with companies who can send all the team to the course. And business owners have their own motivators. One of them could be, for example, if perhaps employees want to attend the course by themselves. So this motivates employees to attend and be part of the company. Also, if the team from business owner will attend the course, perhaps the team later will save on production cost and the company will get higher revenue. Or maybe the team after the course will get more work done in less time. Or sometimes there are online courses which gives certificates, and these certificates are needed to get new projects and new clients. So this can be another motivator why business would buy your courses. So if you will show what value the online course brings, you can sell the course at any price. And I'm all the time telling to my team that we are not selling the price, we are selling the quality and valuable stuff for everyone who attends our courses. So let me sum up everything. What There are just 3 simple things what you need to do to define your audience before starting to sell online events. Listen to your audience and sell the value and know what motivates your customers to buy. That's all. Have great sales.
I can applaud myself. I should have brought the sound of audience, but that's not for me for the next time. I mean, you're touching quite a sensitive topic of pricing, and you're quite open about expensive being good and not bad, and so you have my respect. Mm-hmm. And the first, I have a very long question. The first time I stumbled upon BuildStuff events, it was long ago, and you were Lithuania only at the time, and already then, admission ticket to event was comparable to average salary in the country, and I was, wow, these people are doing cool stuff. And right now, I look at the tickets to events, and 1,000+ easily, conference plus hotel plus masterclass. I mean, it's and the cheapest tickets is, I think, 200 euros. So, and now you're saying, look, we had this physical event with expensive tickets, and now we're doing the same, but free.
Mm-hmm. So we are also doing paid courses, virtual events, free meetups. It just was the start for us to look how audience reacts to online events. And we noticed that it's fine to go online and learn stuff. And it became, and actually it's fine to go online and pay for training. Although I'm noticing that trainings now online a bit cheaper, well, more cheaper than in-person training. Although in the future, I think the price will go up for online trainings, because online trainings provides a similar or even better experience. You have the same trainer who can interact with you here and now, who can answer your questions after the course day privately to on Slack or in emails. So you get all that connection and all material.
Lerika, Robin, what's your take on this? What is your perceived value of online events? Is it bigger? Do you want to pay more for online event? If we're talking about the pricing and online events, what do you have on top of your head?
I think it's kind of tricky. And I went to Software Circus conference last week, and that was just free to register for. There's some fantastic quality content. And when stuff's available for free and you're just in your study and you dive into it, I think convincing people to pay for it is much more tricky. Whereas if you're saying, come along to this conference in person, and there's quite obviously fixed costs associated with that, and there's something tangible that people feel they're paying for, then I think it's easier. Whereas when it's just another window in your browser that you're going to open up, and this one's a conference, and this one's my email, and this one's Twitter or something, saying that actually this one over here has got content that you need to pay for, this one over here is YouTube and it's got infinite content. It's not impossible. People are doing it. You're doing it very well, Neringa. But I guess I suppose it's around the curation of it and making it. I wonder if you have to work harder to convince people of that value.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, there is so much free content online that people just asking questions. Why should I pay for content if I can just get so many sessions on the internet? So for online events, you need to provide more just as content. It should be more value for attendees, and you need to explain them why it's more value than just the sessions. It's a challenge.
Well, sometimes you can get lost between all the content online. So here comes the event organizer who is saying, okay, this is good for you, and this is why you need to take this. So it's like we are taking all information, putting through the filter, and then giving back to the audience.
So right, as a roundup, from what I understand, Neringa says like the future is taking some of the content for free and selling the premium content at a price, and this is how you survive. Lerika says, well, just put a paywall to your event, no free content. And no?
No, you can
okay.
do free. Of course, you can do free events and give some content for free and some content for money. But the content for money should be like more valuable than content for free. Yeah, like.
Robin, everything you produce is free and it's available on YouTube. Am I correct with that? And also you mentioned that you just like, with all the online events, you can have as many as you want in your browser tabs. So why paying? Am I rephrasing you well?
Kind of. I suppose I'm saying from a developer's point of view, wanting to go and learn something and build understanding, it's easy to go and lose yourself in YouTube, in conference videos, and there's tons of stuff out there. But maybe that's actually where the catch comes in, because there's so much stuff out there that there's definitely value in curated content. And someone saying, here is this specific set of things that's going to teach you this, or that's going to guide you through these things by these people, rather than just, here's YouTube, go and like, there's tons of stuff, but there's tons of rubbish on there as well. But I think I'm saying that it's a less obvious proposition. But the flip side is, in-person conferences, there was a lot of rubbish, but because you're paying to go to it, people go along and kind of presume that it was good. But there's an awful lot of poor quality content as well. So I hope what's going to come out of this whole thing is a bit of a shakedown, or shake up rather, in terms of what content people feel that they can actually charge for, and make it easier for developers to actually go out there and learn stuff.
Anything else that you want to ask Neringa here before we switch on? I'm sort of impressed with the package. And Neringa, by the way, I suggested people to ask questions, and now I'm jumping in. Yeah, this is totally me, sorry. But Neringa, did you have to reduce or put the prices higher for the trainings that you're still selling? For the master classes, I think that's how you call them.
Well, we are selling on lower side. Let's say our prices starts, I think, at 350 euros for the course. So, but the same training, in-person training, could sell for twice as much.
Okay, that's cool.
I have a question. So you have sponsorship proposal for like companies to sponsor the event. How does it change? Did you like reduce amount of options? How change the pricing? Like all of that?
I haven't changed the pricing. Everything just stayed the same. I actually had no time to do that. And I didn't, we just had prepared sponsorship for 2020, and it keeps going. Of course, when we talk with sponsor, we talk about other ways how we can promote them. It's more online-based promotion and on the videos. Yeah, we brainstorm and mix stuff together and create stuff on the go. I'm still learning how to do everything. It's been 10 weeks. For everyone, it's been 10 weeks.
That's why we are on this meetup. We're trying to figure it out, and from very, very different sides.
But I really assure you that there are companies who are willing to buy courses and events because there are no other options. Yep.
I can imagine, the header on the sponsorship proposal, there are no other options, and it's like here. And I guess it may work because the statement is actually correct.
Yeah. We had to rewrite our sponsorship proposal basically from scratch because we couldn't provide so many brand visibility as we did on our offline events, and people were asking, what I'm paying for, and we had to write every option with what it includes. And set the prices, and it was should it cost more or should it cost less? And yeah, it's basically for the first time we were just trying, it was hard, and some options sells better than others, and now we understand that this option could cost less, and this option could cost more because people are more interested in it, and it provides more value for our sponsors.
And your events, Lerika, are also global.
Unless you try.
Lerika, your events are also global. So your events are also global. So you cannot say look, this is a problem of some certain region. No, you pretty much, it's global. And you have run two virtual events by today. And I guess you have a story to tell about that.
Yeah.
Would you tell us the story of what you have done?
You want to switch it? You want to switch it? Okay, I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, present now, Chrome tab. Okay. Actually, since my internet is not working very well, I'll leave not presenting mode, but like this one. Is it okay? Does it work?
We are here for your story and for yourself. That's the first thing.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. Moving my conference online, do's and don'ts. So I'm Lerika. I'm CEO and founder of DevGAMM, and I'm running this event for 12 years. Yeah, since 2008. Basically, for those of you who doesn't know what DevGAMM is, it's a developers-oriented B2B event. It started in 2008 as a small 100 attendees event called FlashGAMM before it was oriented on Flash game developers, and then we switched for different technologies and rebranded it to DevGAMM. We made events in Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, Germany, and USA. And for last year, each of our events had over 2,000 attendees. Actually, last Belarusian event had 2,300, which was very impressive in Belarus. And also we are running series of small events. It's called DevGAMM Talks. It's one-day event, just talks about one specific topic, like art, game design, or something like that. So DevGAMM, it's just a couple pictures, so it's huge halls and it's expo, but not just that, because most of the events is just expo and sessions. So DevGAMM is an experience, and usually we have 5-7 session tracks. We have round tables for business attendees where they for 10 people sharing knowledge. We have a lot of business meetings, and people schedule meetings in advance, and it's a big part for our event. We have career wall for hiring. We have quests where attendees go around and do some task from sponsors and companies, and then we have huge raffle. We have at least one party, sometimes 2-3 parties. We have women's lunch, speakers dinner, again, huge expo, showcase for developers, and usually we showcase around 80 different projects during 2 days. We have an amazing award show with cash prizes. We have speed game dating for meeting developers and publishers for 3 minutes, and funny show, great game roast people like to attend, game design review, and even for 2 years we're running a huge live stream together with huge media where we highlight developers and interviews. So as you can see, it's a huge event, and we're doing it twice a year. And this year we're planning to do it 3 times in Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. Our team is 12 people from 5 different countries, and we all work remotely. So when everything started, we didn't feel anything, because our working processes didn't change. So around March, when all game industry events started to cancel or postpone or move or whatever, we were monitoring situation, because our event were planned in May 14-15 in Russia. And Russia were like, okay, it's like everything is okay, the world is panicking, but we are doing great. So everything started in Russia much later than in the rest of the world. But since I'm living in the US, and I see more what's happening here, and we have a lot of international partners, we're starting to prepare way in advance. So at least 2 months, or even 2.5 months before, we decided, okay, we are going to move this event online. And we announced it. And we started to research a lot of different platforms. We knew that we didn't want to do a lot of different stuff, because we started to attend every online event could find, in game industry, not in the game industry. I even attended an event about legalizing weed in European Union, which was weird. But it was the main thing we understood, that we want everything be on one platform. We don't want to go, people watch sessions on Zoom or YouTube and then have a chat in Slack, and then having meetings in another meeting system and go to different, because it's they do not feel connected, especially for B2B event. So we started to research different platforms, and finally we made our choice. I will not stop here why and where, we can discuss it later, but still. So second part, we decided, okay, what should we keep from our from everything we have? Okay, for our online event, we should have at least 5-7 session tracks. At that time, it seemed like a very good idea, because that's how our offline event works, right? So we have tons of content, usually around 100 speakers. Then we should definitely keep business meetings, because it's our strongest part. And of course, people would like to have some sort of party. We actually announced that we will have party, but we didn't know how we will do it. We said, okay, let's do it. And we wanted to keep 2 main things, what also kept together DevGAMM. It's speed game dating for developers and publishers. So people, we also didn't know how we can do it, but we decided, okay, we'll announce it and we'll try to do it. And award show. For award show, it was a challenge, but we saw how IGF did it, how BAFTA Awards did it, and we say, okay, we can do even better. So we left it. And then we started to work and started to prepare. But since our team is big enough, everyone's we're coming out with ideas. And we're like, okay, let's do, the platform allows us to do expo. Let's do a virtual expo. So that's how we can sell more sponsorships. Okay, and then, okay, our partners help us to organize a game design review, which was also very good. Okay, let's keep this format as well. And then we found a sponsor for live stream with developers, because it's cool. Let's keep live stream as well and organize it. And then let's use our DevGAMM Hub as a virtual showcase and keep this part as well. And then our partners came to us and say, hey, can help you to organize a career wall inside DevGAMM for virtual. And we're sure, why not? And then another friends come out and said, hey, let's help you to organize women lunch, which you always have at DevGAMM. We said, sure, why not? And then we actually come out with ideas that we need not one, but more parties. Because if we have just one party, somebody will not come, and different people, like, usually at big event, you always have a like big official party. And then some companies organize something smaller, and people just go around to different parties and said, okay, let's just allow everyone organize their own parties, like in Zoom, YouTube, or like, actually we had one party in Roblox. It was cool. And yeah, actually we did like 4 official parties and 1 after party. Alek actually was organizing one. Yeah. And what else? Yeah. So basically, as you can see, it's just only like 4 things we didn't do. And didn't bring virtually, because we decided that, okay, we should try as much as we can and see what works in online format, and then we can cut it or improve it. But also, since it's virtual event, we were thinking, let's add a new format, random networking, because people love to meet each other like randomly on events, and it's very fun thing which I'm missing. So we, like with the platform we're using, we developed this random networking where you just meet with random business person for 5 minutes and you can chat and you can meet. It was super fun. And then we created new format, a public pitch, and then we decided to organize streaming showcase where we partner up with streamers and YouTubers who are playing games both days. And then we organized a virtual bag for so basically it's a virtual bag where sponsors can put a lot of virtual cool stuff. And then we had a bunch of new ideas, which was fun. Yeah. Yeah, because it was too much, and we at some point we decided, okay, this is too much, and we need to at least finalize everything and like make everything happen. And everything happened. Actually, we had a really good event. So I put here some numbers. So totally we had 1,300 attendees, which is a little bit less than usually we have. Usually we have like around 2,000. But again, it was so hard to, we didn't have free tickets. If we would have free tickets, we could have like much bigger audience. But without free tickets, I think it's a good number. 600, over 600 companies. And another cool stuff is that we had 43 countries representatives. It's much bigger than for our offline event, especially like for Russia. Usually we have around 27, 30 countries. It's because of the visa. Unfortunately for Russia, like Americans need visas and European people need visas, and it's really hard to get. But here it's like, woo, so many countries. So 81 session, yeah, we did 6 session streams in the end, 112 speakers, a lot of job offers for Career Wall, which is like a little bit more than we had for offline event, and a lot of meetings and random networkings. So couple screens just to give you an overview of the platform we use, like how it looks, how looks our virtual expo, which was also really cool. Yeah, so random networking, streams, parties we use for party different platform, special chat, where like people can, you know, you can move around the screen, your avatar, and closer you come to persons and you can hear them. And basically people were like gathering in small groups and chatting, basically like a normal party, which was really cool. And the same platform we used to make a like women's lunch, and here's our Roblox party, and of course DevGAMM awards. And we could get really cool guests to present the awards, the people who would not ever come to like to Russia, but they could join awards remotely. This was really cool stuff. Okay, so I think that's basically it, I think, and we can. Yeah, I skipped a lot of part. I can talk like for hours about this topic, but Alec asked me to make it very condensed.
I actually thought that normally in these meetups, the panel is the main part actually. So, Robin, do you feel overwhelming? Like what Neringa and Lerika plan for this event? I mean, like as a developer, you normally most developers are more introverted, and you as a developer advocate have more on your agenda than probably a regular developer. So what's your take on virtual events with lots of activities like this?
Well, I think it sounds great. I'm really interested. I mentioned I've been to one virtual event so far, and I didn't partake in half the things that they'd set up. I just dialed into the sessions, kind of like very boring. But seeing all that stuff that Lerika talked about there, it looks really, really interesting. I'm involved in an event that's happening later this year that's moving online for the first time, and I'm totally going to be in touch to kind of like pick your brains over that some more, because and everyone always comes back to how do you replicate the hallway track? How do you kind of replicate that sense of being part of a community with fellow people interested in the same thing? And that looks like a ton of great ideas there. So yeah, it looks great.
Neringa, any feedback?
I love that. That's lots of interesting ideas how to run an event. Like, I'm really impressed. So what platform you was using? Did you build it up by yourself? The team did?
No, we didn't build it ourselves because it was like 2 months to build, and it's really hard, right? Especially if you want to do everything. So we did the research. We were researching a lot of event platforms like Hopin and like Big Maker, Bizabu, tons of like webinars platforms and other stuff. Like Attendify, also like building cool platform. But we partner up with guys from Pine Tool. It's like Pine Tree, Pine Tool. So they had B2B offline networking. It's like super cool meeting system where like you put all attendees and they set up meetings, and then at the offline event you can you have a table, so you come to the table and it's assigned to your meeting. It's really cool, and people can create like cards and you can swipe and learn, and they also have IE who suggests you based on your tags who to meet. So we were using it for a couple events. We really like it, and then guys came to us and said, hey Lerika, we are building on top of our platform like session stuff, and also like virtual booths. And we said, oh, okay, so are you able to do this and that by our event, but by the time of our event? And said, yeah, sure, we can. So to test everything, we decided like in 3 weeks after like we partner up with them in April 9, I believe, or 8, we decided to make a small event, online event, like DevGAMM Talks. We called it DevGAMM Talks from Home. It was one-day event about switching to remote work. Actually, Alec was speaking there. So it has it doesn't have any meeting system, anything. It just was sessions and chat, and we were testing how it's working, and it worked well. So we said, okay, if it works, we're staying with you. If no, we go to different platform, and it works. And they made impossible. They made like this cool virtual booths for sponsors and interactive booths, where like people can grab somebody from audience and put like in a chat room and it has interactions. And then we really asked them, hey, can you do this random networking thing? And they, yeah, it's actually not very like hard. And they built this random networking specifically for us, and now other events using it as well. So it was a big collaboration between our needs and what they wanted to do for other events as well. And it was like a great partnership.
Random networking, that's both sort of creepy. I mean, you're forced to a person you don't know. You know who he or she is, and how does
it's like
work?
chat roulette. Exactly, it's like a chat roulette. You can restrict it for like a specific audience. Like, for example, we decided to allow random networking only for business attendees, speakers, and media. So if you like have session tickets or developer tickets, you cannot do random networking. But if you like higher level, you can do. And yes, it just connects you to random person who's available online right now. We set up 5-minute meetings, and you just connect and you talk. And if you have something in common, you like add each other on a platform as like bookmarks and connect. And then if you like, you can do more business. Actually, now I want to improve it. That if you both like to conversations, that maybe you can like continue it. If both both person like want to continue conversation, it can be longer than 5 minutes. Because sometimes because I tried it myself several times during both days, and sometimes it was so much fun that you wanted to continue this conversation. Okay. I'll call you more. Let's chat more. It had this feeling like it's a normal event, because sometimes I met people I knew, and it was like, oh my God, I didn't know you at my event. Oh, this is so cool. And sometimes I met people I didn't know, and I was like, hi, how do you like the event? What are you doing? And it's basically like you meet people at the coffee break, like at the offline event, and you're like, hey, what are you doing? I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's the same feeling. That's what online events missing, and I think that one of the like small successes we had at our event.
I suppose that's one of the quite good things about it being set up for you, because I'm an introvert. I'm kind of like a stereotypical geek. In-person conferences, I find it difficult to go up to someone just kind of cold and say, hi, let's talk. Whereas if you're in an online system and it's actually kind of like you dial in, they dial in, it's kind of that initial awkward kind of, shall we talk to each other is done. You like, you two must now talk for a bit. So I like the sound of that.
Yeah. And on that system, we actually also developed speed game dating. So speed game dating in offline event, it was one room, 20 developers, 20 publishers on one side, and they had 3 minutes meeting. Developers were making elevator pitch for their games to publisher, and then signal, and publishers switched to another developers. And in 1 hour, 20 publishers meet 20 developers around, if sometimes plus minus. And with the same format, with the random networking, you can basically divide audience into groups. So when you join random networking, there is like, okay, I'm developer or I am publishers, and you go to that group. And people of one group cannot meet each other. Two publishers cannot meet two publishers. Two developers cannot meet two developers. And you also can restrict it to like certain amount of people, and restrict it to a certain amount of time. And like, okay, this hour and a half is dedicated for networking for developers and publishers. And we alarm them, and they come, and they log in, and then they have these small meetings and meet each other. And if they see there's a lot of common, they just exchange contacts and continue conversation afterwards. So yeah, that's what works.
Neringa, what are you copying to your next event from what Lerika has suggested to do?
So I made a print screen of all the ideas. It would be really nice to get together on another call and chat more. Because we are planning to make a closing a virtual meetups event on the 18th. And it would be nice just to test some of the ideas and the platform maybe.
Yeah, no problem. I can send you my screens and presentation and more information. I'm open. Yeah, you're welcome. Like it's
this
like,
is being recorded and live streamed.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, people.
Okay. We can send everything for everyone.
Neringa, so 2 weeks ago, there was a person speaking right in this event who actually you suggested a speaker. Her name is Laura, and she was very in favor of events you run, and she especially liked the games that you play at your online meetups currently. Can you please tell more about that?
Well, we are playing what quizzes are quite popular, and I got some Jackbox.tv games. I don't know if you had tried that. There are some murder trivia with a quiz on top and all the story going. Basically, everyone connects with the phones and needs to be the faster. And because sponsors are giving for us some presents, we have winners and people getting prizes. So it's even more excited to do that. And last week we played bingo. I totally forgot about such game, and it was really fun. When last time have you played bingo?
In Vegas.
Well, good for you. It's close by.
It's closed, yes.
Yeah. It's close. So, and tomorrow, actually about the Vegas, tomorrow we are having 2 speakers from Las Vegas who will come to the meetup, and there will be also Rokas, the magic who makes magic. I don't know if you know that, Oleg. Rokas Magic. So he also used to make shows in Las Vegas about the magic. So we will have Las Vegas people in a virtual meetup and with some focus with some magic stuff. Tomorrow we will try another thing, magic, how magic works in online meetups.
But I mean, I'm trying to understand, and Robin, please chip in. I mean, you are a developer, and you probably have this whole virtual conference thing in a browser tab, and probably you have more browser tabs open, and you are there to sort of learn from people telling you what to do, and that's why you're in this virtual conference in the first place. And then suddenly, you have to go to Jackbox TV and play bingo. It's like, how does it resonate with your audience? Do they like it? Do they want to just like, no, please continue explaining me, the container stuff?
So sorry, it was a question for me, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a virtual beers. Well, we are having drinks and we are playing games. So some people need to leave because, it's family time. People have things to do, but we have the audience who stays and plays games, and it's fine. I think so. If people are staying, I think it's okay.
It's a good idea. The meetups that I've been to that I've felt have been the best are the ones where there's been chats beforehand, and I've not done like virtual games, but where anything that you can do to make it not just feel like a webinar, where people just like dial in, blah, 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 dial out. And it's just where it actually feels personable and you're interacting with people, and maybe people have their cameras on, there's a bit of chat, and then you have your content. But anything like that I think makes it feel more like actually, like you say, being at a meetup, having a beer, the chat. You kind of like need to bias in favor of that, definitely.
And Robin, for you personally, would you like these interactive things to be in between the sessions, or sort of run 3 hours of sessions and then like 30 minutes or maybe 60 minutes for a more interactive thing? What do you like more?
I don't know. And you mentioned family stuff as well, because that's the other interesting thing here, is that being able to consume all of this stuff and participate in all these things from home is great. If you've actually got a family and not traveling away is like really good. So I used to travel lots, now I travel none. I get to see a load more of my kids, which is brilliant. And so then sometimes I actually want just access the content and then out instead of, so I suppose off the top of my head, if there is interactive stuff, as long as it's clearly timetabled, and then you can participate if you want to, and then dip in and out if you don't, then that's, in a sense, the best of both worlds.
Yeah, so this interactive things is something that I'm also super duper interested in for the reasons that you have just told, like you all three have just told. But also because, I mean, many of us, like the immediate cycle of people we talk to has reduced from hundreds, dozens, like to ones. So we have our immediate cycle who we are close at home with. Sometimes we meet with people who live in the same neighborhood, sometimes in the same city. But like, remember the life a few months ago, we would meet with many people in different cities, different countries. And I am missing that. And I assume many people are missing that. And some of that like bigger cycle, this may be not the close friends, but like maybe acquaintances, maybe nice people you just meet at the conference. So I'm thinking, how do you make a platform so the people you like just magically show up there and you can interact even for 5 minutes a day or a week? That's already could be fun. Do you all miss that outer cycles, and do you feel like a platform for meeting people you sort of know or interested people overall is a good thing?
Do you mean as like as part of the conference or a meetup, or just kind of like
I don't know,
like hanging out
I
during the
don't
week?
know. I mean, I don't know, and nobody knows. But like, I mean, when you go to a conference, you go there because, well, I mean, you have business to do. Like that's your number one agenda, and you have a backlog of people to talk to, and maybe you're presenting, maybe something. But that vibe of meeting people, it just appears, and it's not your KPI to meet these people, but that's what makes you feel good. And how do you emulate this with the online events or in the online era?
So there are some people who are not going to the conferences, but they are joining online events. So I think in the future we should do more online events and also have in-person events. Oh, sorry. Mess happening around. So can someone take over my answer?
Sure, Alex. So the audience is, even for one event, audience are very, very different. For example, after our event, we made a poll about how do you interact with the event, and like some people answered, we just like open sessions and like in a tab and we're listening sessions and we didn't interact with anything. Another part of the audience, they said we just set up meetings and we had meetings and we didn't listen sessions because we came here just for business networking. And another part of the audience, they were like the most engaged audience. They were like interacting with chats, going to random meetings, partying at the party, virtual party, and other stuff. So it's like you will not be able to like engage with all audience at once, but you need to provide for each specific audience entertain they like. So like, and still now for like if you want like them to gather every like weekend or every week together, it's better to have like personal approach. So if it's like small events, like like if it's small group of people, right, it's basically you need to organize chats, mailing list or something like that, and every person should need to feel more like connected and feel like he's like special and not like part of like big, I don't know, newsletter or something like that. That's how you like engage more people into the event, and then these people can engage and bring more people with them. Something like that, I think.
That's interesting. I never thought about the personal approach actually, and now that you said that, it makes sense. So maybe we should switch to Robin, or do you have something else to say?
Let's switch to Robin.
Yeah, since we have just spent about an hour talking about making events for programmers, such as myself, such as Robin, and now Robin gonna tell what he has to do when he has no physical events to travel to, and how his life changed, and how he had to become a sort of a YouTuber, and the slicer that he has not. So it may be interesting, right?
Okay. So like Oleg says, having to become a YouTuber, or maybe not indeed. So I'm Robin. I work at Confluent as a senior developer advocate. So Confluent, we're one of the companies behind Apache Kafka. We work on Apache Kafka, not Confluent, nothing to do with wikis. And my background as a developer advocate is blogging lots and speaking lots, going to conferences, going to meetups, doing all that kind of stuff. And then COVID happened, and now I do a lot less of the traveling, or none of the traveling. So one of the things that I've done, as well as online meetups and starting to do a few online conferences, is experimenting with YouTube. So I'm definitely not a YouTuber, although I do actually have somewhere on YouTube where I post my videos. So maybe that makes me a YouTuber, but definitely not a YouTuber as such. The reason is I like explaining stuff. I like talking to people. I like being a developer advocate. So I like explaining stuff to people. I like doing live coding. So a lot of the talks, my favourite talks that I do at conferences and meetups, like explaining a concept and then actually just typing out a demo and showing people hands on particular thing that I'm trying to teach them. And also, when I'm not traveling, there's only so many blogs that I can write. To start off with, we're going to take fed up with it. Data from Twitter. That's going to show through the blog that I'm writing. We're going to do that. So I was just looking for a different outlet for communicating with developers who I want to work with. So Twitter has got an API. I was thinking about this whole thing around like kind of posting stuff on YouTube, and I started off a few months ago, I guess, when COVID came around. And I've carried on doing it. And I was out the other day and I was thinking, well, why do I keep on doing it? Because you go onto YouTube and you click on any conference and like a keynote or something, and it's got like 250,000 views. And then I go and look at one of the talks that I recorded and put up there, and it's got a few hundred. And it seems a paltry number, and like a couple of hundred people subscribing to the channel. Is there actually much point? But the real point for me, and the reason I keep on doing it, is that you actually look at how much people have watched of the stuff I've recorded. So you get some useful analytics at YouTube, and one of them is the number of hours that people have watched it. So either that's one person who spent like 2 weeks back to back watching all my stuff, or maybe there's more people who are watching the videos, and therefore someone finds it useful because they're actually sitting there and watching it. So you can see how many views there have been, and people have clicked in and clicked out and stuff. It also tells you people are actually sitting and watching this stuff, which is great. So that's why I keep on doing it. So in terms of the stuff that I'm recording, it's all about the content. And so content is king. Turns out Bill Gates wrote an essay titled this. I didn't realise this is where the expression comes from. But it's all about explaining things. So if you're thinking of starting doing this, and I bet a ton of people out there are starting to think about doing this, if not already, think about the kind of things that you want to teach people. Teaching people, whether as an actual trainer or as an advocate up on stage or a YouTuber or writing a blog, when you're teaching people stuff, it helps you understand things a lot better. So pick something that you want to learn more about. So kind of something that you maybe think you kind of understand and you really want to understand a lot more, because by the time you've got through explaining it, you'll definitely understand it. And you'll probably find along the way certain things that you didn't really quite understand, and now you do properly because you've had to dig into them to explain them clearly to other people. Think of things which people are asking you all of the time, and you've answered the same question 10 times over. Well, why not record that as a video, and then you can point them to the video? And that's been quite satisfying. The videos that I've recorded, I find there are certain ones which I keep on copy and pasting the link to and giving out to people, because it's the same kind of problem that people are hitting. So there's the solution there for them. But pick something and just start recording, because the next part of this is actually deciding how you're going to go about it. And for me, you can either do it quickly or you can do it right and pick one. Because if you try and do both, you're going to end up in kind of like a paralysis of not really getting anywhere. So for me, I definitely went for kind of like doing it quick rather than doing it right. So doing it right, my colleague Victor Gamov has got this fantastic setup that he's developed. He produces these fantastic looking videos, and that's one way of doing it. That's brilliant. The content and the quality is superb. But I've taken the other approach, which is much more rough and ready. I've got a camera, I've got a microphone, I'm stood in front of the window, so there's kind of like a good light source, and I've kind of just taken it from there. So you can see I've got kind of like the crap behind me. I was hoping this would be on Zoom so I could green screen it and kind of do a silly background, but you get to see all the nonsense in my office. I should get a green screen, I should do it much better, but I've started off recording this stuff and see how it goes, and then maybe as it kind of goes along and I do more of it, maybe I'll upgrade bits of equipment, maybe I'll actually tidy my study. But for the moment, I'm just kind of getting started with it, a camera, a microphone. I'm using ScreenFlow to kind of record all the stuff and then go back and edit it. But it's just getting started with it. So this was going to be pro tips, but I'm not a pro at it at all. I'm just starting to figure it out. But some of the useful things that I've picked up along the way, or I've had kind of taught to me by others, when you publish something on YouTube, you can put a table of contents, like a time index. And I spent ages going around in circles thinking that there must be a proper way to do this. But it turns out, unless I'm missing something, that it is a fairly crappy way, that you basically just put a list of times in the description of the video, and then YouTube parses that and makes them into hyperlinks that you can then, the viewer can click on and go to certain points. So this is really useful, because if you think about the way that people with kind of like short attention spans, which is most of us, consume material on the internet, they'll go to a blog and kind of like skim down it and TLDR, kind of looking for the different paragraph breaks to work out where the stuff is. And probably the same with a video. You might start at the beginning and then click through, and if it's a bit long, you might just click around. Whereas if you give a table of contents, you're giving people kind of like signposts to here's the interesting bits, or the kind of like the sections, so they can go and click on those ones and hopefully make it a bit more sticky and keep them a little bit more engaged. The cover images is a great tip that I got from Oleg. This is what YouTube shows your videos as in the search results, in the kind of like watch next type things. Anywhere where the videos are listed, it uses the cover image. And if you don't provide one, you can just end up picking a random frame out of the video, which a lot of the time is going to look fairly naff because it's done as a small resolution when YouTube lists it, not the full big screen thing. So on the big screen, you've got your little picture and you've got the code and all the rest of it. When you shrink that down, that looks like a generic screenshot of like any developer's screen. So with the cover images, and I live in Yorkshire in the UK, we've got lovely countryside, go out and take a picture, set the opacity down a bit, put some text over top and screenshot that, upload it, and then you got kind of like an easy cover image like that. Or go to Unsplash or anywhere where you can get kind of the pictures to use for free. Doing something like that makes it much easier for people to kind of like scan down your list of videos in amongst all the other stuff there on YouTube and hopefully pick yours out as one that's going to be interesting to them. In terms of people finding your videos, making sure that you actually put descriptions and tags and all this kind of stuff in there helps people find it better. And something I was quite surprised to find when I started digging around the analytics is that a lot of people actually just come across the videos organically. I think I assumed that, so I'll do a video and then I'll do a little sub blog on my personal blog to link to it, or on Dev2 and tweet it and LinkedIn it and Reddit it and stuff like that. I assumed that people would come in through those routes, but actually you can see on the screen grab there, a quarter of people actually come in through just organic search. So making sure that your video is nice and searchable with all the different terms and that people are going to be looking for is hopefully going to help people actually find it. Other random things there, using a brand account means that you're not tied to a particular Google account in case you change which account you're using. Putting the end screen in place, that you've got the kind of the click here to subscribe and all the rest of it. The playlists is a useful thing, and I didn't really even consume YouTube before getting onto it. So this is probably obvious stuff if you're used to YouTube, but you can set up a playlist with talks that you've done, maybe that other conferences have recorded and put on their channel. You can build a playlist with those in and embed that on your own channel so people can find your stuff that way. And the analytics, like I showed you on the previous screen, they're really useful to understand how people are coming into your different videos, which ones they're watching, which ones they're maybe clicking into and then leaving, and so on. So fairly short and sweet. Many thanks to Oleg for inviting me along here today and for giving me great advice and support when I started off on this. It was just a little innocuous Slack message that I sent out there, and he responded and gave me some great help. My colleagues on the Confluent developer advocacy team as well have given me tons of ideas as well. So Thanks to everyone. And finally, obviously, please make sure you subscribe to my channel.
Robin, it's lots of great stuff, and thanks for the credits. It was nothing, and yeah, I don't consider myself a YouTuber as well. As I have lots of questions and experimenting with many things. But the question I have to you is, like, you've just showed a screenshot with plus 21 subscribers, and also your videos are viewed by hundreds. What do you do? Do you market them? Do you market them via Confluent or like corporate accounts, or do you do some other magic?
No, it's just Twitter. And one of the interesting points here is that I'm a Confluent developer advocate, but I'm putting this out on my personal channel. I suppose it's the kind of like do it quick or do it right, because the quick way is just kind of like record something, chuck it up there. The right way probably is to kind of like record it, get it professionally produced. We've got a superb interactive team at Confluent, and kind of get it done properly that way. That's what some of my colleagues do. But in terms of the stuff that I've got, it's just from tweeting it. As I mentioned, I put stuff on dev.to with like a little stub for the video that I've done and linking through to that. LinkedIn, I put it on Reddit, all sorts of different places. I think you get different types of audience on each of those.
Reddit is something that is hard to crack. People don't like links posted there. So how do you pack your message on Reddit so you get upvoted? Or maybe you just have a very good rating there.
Yeah, Reddit's funny because I found I'm kind of like YouTube. I'm not really a Reddit consumer, and I've been on it for years, and you kind of like browse around it sometimes and waste it at a time, but you'll find different subreddits have got different tolerance, I think, and some of them are more than open to people posting stuff. Some of them you'll get people actively downvoting, if not kind of like reporting you, if all you do is come along and post promotional, well, what they see as spam, what I view as sharing useful content. And what I've found is dialing down how much stuff I just post, except for like a few kind of like key things, and then also contributing to threads that do come up. And also picking kind of like related subreddits. So obviously not spamming just kind of like anywhere and everywhere. So there's a Kafka subreddit, which is where stuff will go because it's about Kafka that I'm talking. But then there's also a Java one, a programming one, a data engineering one, and different ones seem to respond to different videos in different ways. So it's kind of just trial and error, really.
But like in programming, I mean, for those of you who don't know, programming is like, it's huge on Reddit. It's a huge subreddit.
Users.
Yes, but whatever I tried to breathe in this channel and I got like immediately. So it's, and like there is the rules per subreddit, and in programming, the list of what you cannot do in programming is super huge. So can you share some tips on how to be successful in programming?
I mean, I'd have to go back and look. I suspect I've not had much luck there. And the funny thing is, this is all relative. So a top voted post on a subreddit might be hundreds or thousands of upvotes. And if I get 30 upvotes, I think, oh, that did really well. So it's completely relative. Java probably I've had most luck with, but some of the stuff on data engineering as well, or big data, depending. And some of this is blog posts rather than videos. But I suppose if you get reported or someone comments once saying like you shouldn't be doing this, then taking that to heart and backing off and trying a different approach. Some of them don't allow links, so then I just do a short little post, which is basically the contents of the link, but with something which makes it at least a semblance of an actual post itself. But I would say I'm even less of a Reddit expert than a YouTube expert.
I see. Where was I? Let me remember what I want to say. So I had many questions, but Neringa and Lerika can chip in but let's try to make it like this. So Robin, you used to travel to conferences to sort of tell about what you care about talking, pretty much. And now, well, you're fine staying at home and producing, like you are the publisher of your own content suddenly. So why would you want to get back to conferences, be it virtual or physical, if you can deliver your content to your audience yourself?
So getting back to in-person conferences and meetups is because meeting with people is pretty much always going to be better than virtual. Virtual's good, and we've had some great ideas from how you can almost replicate it being as good as, but I don't think it's ever going to be better than. There are going to be elements that are better than. So for example, I'll do an online meetup. This meetup is a great example. After this meetup, I'll walk out my study door and I'll go and have tea with my family, and I'm at home, and I get to put the kids to bed, and that's fantastic. Whereas when I go and do a meetup in person, it's usually a 2-day trip, and I have to fly somewhere. There's carbon emissions, there's cost, I'll get a crap night's sleep in a hotel somewhere, and then I'm away from home for 2 days. So that side of it, it's like, hey, this is great. I'm going to stay at home, but it's the people. So I can see why people will want to do less of this stuff, but I can't believe that people will do none of this stuff, the in-person stuff.
And with online events, I mean, you can publish your own stuff. Why do you need Neringa, Lerika, or other people to host you?
Because they have a massive audience, whereas I have 200 people, 211, or 214 if you three have subscribed. So for the same reason that all conferences, you go along and you get a different developer base, and you go to one conference and it's all big data, another conference it's all Java, another conference it's whatever, and each one is going to have overlapping interests, and kind of that's like the three circles, and the stuff that I talk about sits and overlaps with those. And where I am, I can kind of like shout loudly in the internet of a billion and kind of hope that someone notices my tweets, or I can go along to a meetup and speak to 100 people, or go to a conference and speak to 1,000 people. So it's complementary. I don't think it's either or.
Yeah, nothing can replace physical events. Yes, as Neringa said, a lot of events will have a hybrid model. When we go offline, you can have like an online part of the event, but people meeting each other, and even for speakers, when you speak online, it's one thing, but when you speak on a stage and you can feel the audience and how they react on everything you said, and how you can interact with the audience, is completely different. You will not be able to replace offline events.
That's a massive point there. Like standing in front of my computer, and so when I was presenting, I had my slides on the screen and I couldn't see the three of you. And when I'm stood, so even then it feels like I'm just talking to my computer, and you can learn tricks to kind of like, well, I'm going to draw a little smiley face on my webcam or something like that, but you're still talking at a screen. You still have no idea of people nodding along, and people kind of like looking at their phones, and they're falling asleep. You can't replace that energy of speaking to a crowded room.
Yeah, that's true. It's with everything. So. Yeah.
But it's difficult because there are so many good things about virtual. It's more accessible, it's more convenient, all these other things. So it's very hard to kind of call it one way or another, really. I think like you said, it's going to be a hybrid approach.
Neringa, what about your audience? Do you feel like since I mean the audience for events, they're very, very experienced professionals normally. Do you feel like they suddenly became self-sufficient? I mean, within their own channels, or do they still need you? How do you feel?
So I think they still need people like me or Lerika. What our job is to connect people together, and we have the network to do that. So this is a huge job to promote someone, to promote yourself. So yeah. So I think I'm getting more requests how developer can sell himself, or how he can sell his trainings. You can do that by yourself, or you can have people like us helping you. Because if
or
you
both.
well, Robin is a software developer, yeah? So let him do his job. And of course, it's great to have the skill when you can market yourself and you can create YouTube channel. For example, I don't have YouTube channel on my own. I have BuildStuff YouTube channel. And it was interesting to see how the channel is doing, because I never thought YouTube is doing great. But now I looked and we have 3,000 subscribers. So I don't know how that happened, but because of all the people and all the speakers who are in the videos that we are posting. So when your conference organizer is posting your video in their channel, you're reaching the audience not just of your own speakers, but also all the other speakers' audience. I don't know if I put it right. So, what was the question? I'm really sorry. I'm a bit distracted. Later, I will send the photos.
You can invite the small human being to this conversation.
Yeah. Well, I will send later the photos, how my home looks like after having 1 hour meeting. Everything is basically broken.
At least your generator is not broken, and
yeah.
Yeah.
For those who have joined recently and missed the fun, Lerika is on the boat, and she had all sorts of problems, including with fume detectors and anchors and all the things. So, any reflections on today? What have you learned? What is your takeaway message today?
So I learned a lot. Lerika gave lots of interesting ideas on running an actual event. And Robin, well, emphasized YouTube that I actually forgot that we own. Yes, we post the videos there, but I will look at it differently. So that's, well, there are lots of ideas that I can use.
Yeah. I just can't wait. We will do offline events again. But before that, we just need to innovate and try new different stuff online, because basically it's like an establishment of a new market of online events. Everyone is like trying to doing a lot of mistakes, a lot of tries, and eventually I believe it's good for the industry, the event industry in general, because I think by the end of the year we might come out with a lot of different cool solutions, better solutions that we have now for online events, and basically all this situation gave a big push, like a slap to our industry, so we can innovate, we can try new things, new stuff, and this is cool and fascinating and scary at the same time. So I just wish all us best. Yeah, just keep trying, keep doing, keep interacting, entertaining our audience, make them learn. That's
Lerika, your background is waving.
Oh, sorry. Oh. It's a wave. Sorry.
Robin, what's your impressions after what have you learned today?
I think, like Lerika says, looking forward to getting back to in person. But I think it's also interesting to see how much is going on in terms of making conferences actually work as an online event, rather than just trying to lift and shift one format into online, which is, I think, not a good idea. And some of the stuff in your talk, Lerika, with the different social interactions and stuff, I think looks really good for helping bridge that gap. So I think we're making good of a bad situation, but getting back in person is going to be good.
Yeah, and I think it's sort of fun that many. I'm sorry. I think it's sort of fun that many of the, let's call them often conference goers, suddenly started also to produce and promote their own content themselves. I think it makes more free and good information available on the internet, which is magnificent. And also many conferences have started publishing more content for free and more thinking about online audience, which allows people from maybe from smaller cities, maybe who can just afford traveling to a physical event. So the situation that we are now in allows less privileged people access information of better quality. And it's obviously, I mean, I sympathize with these people who couldn't access that and now they have access to this information. But also we should think that these people, they can learn now and well become our users, come to your conferences, use our tools, use our SDKs, well, subscribe to our YouTube channels. And we used to pay ads to attract more audience. And now we have sort of the influx of people who didn't know they like game development, who didn't know they want to go to BuildStuff or toy with Kafka, and now they suddenly do. And well, we have more audience instead of less. So I think that's what is inspiring. And the question is, well, can we accommodate this new audience, or how can we accommodate this, and what do we do with that? So these are the questions I have, like both the takeaway and the questions, sort of. And let's wave everyone